church has passed through and in and as all the birthing that this church has given us, including me. I always tell the story. It's the first church I came to that was Science for Mine. I heard the music and wanted to run out. It scared me. The Spirit is here. The Spirit is strong. Always has been. Always will be. So Dr. Seth called me and asked if I could speak. And I didn't know the topic at the time: contagious celebration, gravity, gratitude, and grace. And so when he just left a message, I thought of all these different kinds of things I could talk about. And I just had this discussion, let's say discussion, with someone in the community that was talking about Black Lives Matter and grassroots. And I was telling him, and he was saying, it's about, seems like there's Black feminists there. And I said, well, Black women never called it feminism, they called it womenness. And that was Alice Walker, because we know where we came from, the womb. So when Reverend Seth said, can you speak? I said, I'm gonna talk about Black feminism. I'm gonna talk about the womenness. I'm gonna talk about the divine feminine in which we come. And then I went looking for divine feminine in the Bible. And it was really curious. And I went to AI. And AI said divine feminine in the Bible has to do with wisdom. And they quoted Proverbs, and they quoted James. And in James they said, count it all joy, my brothers and sisters, wherever you face trials of any kind. And so to count it all joy in Proverbs and James was my story about the creative process. And so when I talked about the creative process, and I said, let me share about the creative process and divine feminine, because that's what we came from, wisdom, intuition, love, and nourishment, I thought, okay, we can talk about that. And then Reverend Seth said, yeah, you can talk about Sophia. I said, I've never heard of Sophia. And then I thought about, well, maybe about the Virgin Mary, and it's like she never spoke in the Bible. And then I thought, okay, I'm led back to myself, and I went on my phone, and Dr. Seth had sent me Contagious Celebration. He sent me gravity, gratitude, and grace. So I'm going to wrap this all in the divine feminine. Gravity. First week in April, I went to Sedona with Charles, my man, celebrating our anniversary. Went to a place I always go, buy inspirational cards, those inspirational cards you get. So I buy Andrea Smith's inspirational cards, and before we leave, her husband, Gary, says, why don't you pull a card? So Charles pulls a card, I pull a card. Card said, growth, Growth. And I said, wow, that's nice. Growth is good. Growth is good. So Charles bought the deck of cards the next day. Charles says, let's pull cards. I said, sure, let's pull cards. He shuffles them, he pulls his cards. I shuffle them, I pull my card. Growth. Growth. And I'm like, well, what are the chances of that, So the third day in a row, I said, I'm going to pull a card this time. I'm going to shuffle them 5 times towards my heart. I'm going to spit on them. I'm going to put the woo-woo, goo-goo, juju on it. He shuffles them, he pulls his cards, I shuffle them, I pull my card. Growth. I said the same thing. Wow. And because I pull cards 3 in a row, it's usually problem, something related to the problem and solution, or past, present, future. So I said, okay, I'm going to pull 2 more cards. The second card was patience. And the third card was grace. So when I see things that repeat themselves now, I pay attention. And when when Reverend Seth says his sermon is called Contagious Gravity, Contagious Celebration, Gravity, Gratitude, and Grace, I'm paying attention. What's the gravity about? What are we pulled into? Just like I pull those cards, there's a destiny that's our nature. It's an energetic that we get pulled into. The gravity allows us to be obedient to our intuition. The gravity tells us that this feeling you want or you don't want. You know, we are in a day and time where there's a whole lot of energy out there. And the question is, what are you being pulled into? Charles and I are doing a Course in Miracles. Anyone ever done a Course in Miracles? Okay. Course in Miracles teaches you that what you're upset about isn't really what you're upset about. A Course in Miracles teaches you can't serve 2 worlds. You either are in the world of love or you're in the world of fear. What are you being pulled into? So when we talk about celebration and joy, it's like, what is there to be joyful about? What is there to celebrate? And I love the song this morning about my hands and my feet. You take one little piece. You take your fingertips. And you get grateful for the feelings you have in them, just in the tips of your fingers. These 5 digits, this thumb and this index finger, these pink, we celebrate not anything big, but we celebrate the small things because those are the big things. We celebrate that we can walk this morning. We celebrate that we can open our eyes and look around, and I see these beautiful faces in front of me. You know, we think celebration is about an occasion. And I say, we better celebrate now. Don't wait for your joy. What we have here right now is to recognize that all we have was made from love, we come from love, and we move as love. That's the celebration. That's what's contagious when you meet up with grace. I was telling a friend of mine, it's like, I'm not sure about grace. I think grace left a long time ago. I'm going to find me grace. And I realize as a woman, I keep thinking that that is something I'm supposed to give to others. Because I'm an empath, because I can feel pain and pleasure and joy, I have to give myself grace to just simply feel. Knowing that the pain is not the problem, but the pain has a purpose. It's there to open me up to what my joy is. Have you ever been sick for a long period of time, and as soon as you stop sneezing and coughing, you feel like you want to celebrate? We don't have to wait until we're sick to understand that just right this moment is where joy lives. right this moment, we have the ability to celebrate ourselves. Contagious celebration, gravity, gratitude, and grace is the energy that we move forward with so that we don't get caught up in all of this stuff. Give yourself grace by giving yourself permission not to be caught up in all of this stuff. We have been here long before we were enslaved in this country. We moved from an ancient field of knowing. So when we show up, the light shows up. When we show up, grace shows up. When we show up, gratitude shows up. When we show up as products of the divine feminine, last time I checked, we all came through some legs. When we show up as the offspring of that kind of birthing, there is nothing but joy. There is nothing but understanding who we are and what our power is. We are in this world, but we are not of it. When we become of it, we limit our perspectives, we limit our possibilities, and we really limit our purpose. So I thought, okay, I pulled 3 cards, 1 card 3 times. What is growth all about for me? Because I pull for me, but I pull for everybody. I figure if I learn something, we all get to learn something. So I was on a call yesterday with a friend of mine, Ashley, who used to come here, and she's in Texas. And we were on a meditation call, and we were celebrating Malcolm X's birthday, which was yesterday. And so she asked the question, what did you learn from Malcolm X that had to do with love and devotion? And someone said, transformation. We watched a man transform himself. We watched a man whose mother was mentally ill, who was raised by other people and became who he is to this moment that I can call his name and we all know who he is. Transformation is about growth. So if you want to know if you're growing, are you different today than you were a year ago? Are you doing something different than you did a year ago? Are you loving yourself more? Are you moving in a direction that says, I love myself more? That my transformation is not just about the United States of America. That our humanity is being transformed here. So as we transform ourselves, as we grow, as I grow, as this earth grows, what do we learn in the manifestation of that? In Psalm 34:4, it says, magnify the Lord with me. Celebration is magnification, shared focus, and it expands our perception. How can we expand our perception in this moment? When you know you cannot serve 2 masters, what world do you really want to move in? What do you do to reinforce who you really are? We were born in a place of false identities. We were given names other people gave us. What I love about these young people is that they ain't going for none of that. They ain't going for the gender thing. They gonna call themselves whatever they want. They are the, she, whatever. They are blowing all of that stuff out. Just totally blowing it up. Because there's this new paradigm now that we are our own salvation. It's time to come home. It's time to come home. There is nothing outside of us that we need other than each other loving. Just simply loving each other. So what does love mean? Because we throw that word around a lot too. Although I can't say loving ever caused a war. So what does loving mean? And on this call yesterday, this woman said, you know, we throw that word around a lot, but what does it mean? And she says, I think when we claim it as ours. What do we claim as ours? What do we claim as ours that we can't possess? Yeah, because loving makes you think of possession, doesn't it? What about, loving beauty? Loving children playing together? What about just loving yourself in the mirror? So when we talk about gratitude and grace, when we talk about gravity, what we're being pulled into, hopefully, will save our lives. When we hold our container, when we know that love lives there, when we know that there's a place that can never harm us or hurt us, when we stand in the light, when we know that it is our sacred duty for the world to hold the light, whatever pain you may feel temporarily has purpose. And you may not see pain as anything but a prayer. And the prayer is recognizing that all there is God. Not what man has made, not what situations we live in, but all there is God, and God wants us happy. God wants us to live in joy. God wants us to feel the fullness of each other. Howard Thurman said, the gladness of the heart is the life of the soul. The gladness of the heart is the life of the soul. How do we live in joy? How do we live in gladness? How do we stay focused on what we are supposed to stay focused on so that we understand God is 24 hours, not just Sunday mornings? How do we turn away from those things that don't feel good? And I say, don't turn away, just move towards the light. What you resist persists. Allow and accept that there's something greater than whatever it is that you're seeing that looks like dark. And the darkness has a purpose because that's where seeds are planted. We were born in the womb. There was a flashlight in there, but we felt it inside. That light is that heartbeat. And if you can feel your heartbeat, then you know God. If you can feel your heartbeat, you know the creative process. You know the mind, the body, and the spirit are all one. So we move forward knowing that. Counting it all joy because you know that your destiny and your ecstasy and your faith produces perseverance is what we need right on in here. Knowing where our power is and no one can take it away is what we need to remember right up in here. Karmically, and I put that in a poem, karmic, when you get what you deserve, it's supposed to make you smile. So, as you know, I'm a poet, and I thought about, how do I praise to keep my spirit strong? And who can I praise to keep my spirit strong? And I wrote a poem called 94% Strong that I want to share with you. Black women standing their ground, having their say, moving in harmony in a sacred way. 94% strong, undeterred, unblemished, future-focused, blessed knowing we have each other, grateful to know we have friends and lovers. One God, third eye vision, onward, my sisters, a full standing ovation. The mission is to continue to love and protect one another, no matter the battle, the struggle, the war, the appearance of an ending. We are the medicine, the healing salve for our community. Take your time, be gentle with yourself, commune in nature, beauty, laugh often. It aids daily in self-renewal. We're a fearless force, anointed by the Creator. We live for children dreaming of safe harbors. Be the lighthouse on this journey of cloudy tomorrows, believing in a world where loving each other will be sustained, where innocence and hope can play together, a place where safety is no longer the price we pay for the laborious truths of America's sins. 94% strong Black women voting en masse in 2024. There's no loss, only gain. When we look in the mirror, pride and purpose make it worth it again and again. Sisterhood makes it easier to sleep at night these days. We cuddle with our community and like the neighbors we've made. What about you, US citizen, who voted for cruelty being inflicted? Hallucinations have a price. Karma is ancient wisdom. With a smile, 94% strong grows stronger and stronger. This is a thank you poem for my sisters, my brothers, and to all those who love Black women. Thank you. So we're dropped down into prayer. And if we can, let's give ourselves some grace. Put one hand over your heart and the other one on your belly. Feel the love. Feel the light in your heart. Feel your strength. Feel your power. Loving is contagious. It seeks itself out. We feel it from strangers. We see it on faces. Oh, how good it is to know the presence of God is breathing me and each one of us. That the dark is there to illuminate the light. That we know who we are and we know whose we are. So we hold ourselves now. We invite grace into our hearts and our bodies. We trust. We give ourselves the benefit of a doubt. So for this and so much more, I thank this Guidance Church. I thank Reverend Seth and Reverend Claire and the congregation and the practitioners and the love-filled force that gave birth to this place more than 50 years ago. I give thanks to everyone present and all our visitors. Contagious is the loving here, and we let it be. And so it is. Ashe.